What's up, everybody? I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMovieScreenings.com, and I got another movie review for you guys, and that would be the 2017 version of Murder on the Orient Express. Now, this one's based on a book by Agatha Christie, and it's also been adapted into a film. So this story has kind of been played out throughout many decades, and so everyone is familiar with this story. Now, if you haven't seen the movie or read the book, is this version something worth going to see? Well, let me start off by saying this. When I saw the trailers, I really liked them. I thought it had captured this kind of whimsical world of like intrigue and mystery and murder, and like that's the type of riveting stuff you want to see in a movie. And when you have this like, packed cast of just A-plus talent, plus with Kenneth Branagh as the director, who's directed some pretty good Shakespearean films. He directed the first Thor, which I really like, and then sometimes he goes out of his wheelbox and does stuff like Jack Ryan. He's a well-known and respectable director. This could be something great. It was okay. Maybe fine at best, but I do have some major issues with this film, so let's get real and break this down. But before we get into the issues, let me tackle the positives, because there's some great little nuggets in here of greatness that I was kind of mesmerized by, but I just thought the movie overall was kind of flat. So let's start with the performances. Everyone in this movie comes to play. This material is not that deep. It is very thin, veiled material that kind of goes throughout the film, but these actors and actresses kind of latch onto that material and make the best character that they can portray and give the best performance. And I was kind of astounded that Kenneth Branagh, like Josh Gad, and there's even a scene with Johnny Depp and Michelle Pfeiffer. It's like everyone is coming to play. I felt invested into what they were doing performance-wise, because they were just so good at what they do, and they were actually way better than the film that they were in. Another positive that I really enjoyed was the production design and the costume design. It is absolutely spectacular. It's colorful, it's lavish, it just pops, and it just invites you to come into this world of, fashion and murder. There was just something kind of Clue-esque about it, to where I felt like I was in this little murder mystery world, and I want to solve the case with them just because of the actual production and costume design. It was just that good. That's about it for positives. I will say that the cinematography is really good. Kenneth Branagh does use a lot of bird's eye view shots to kind of highlight the, murder and just kind of conversations that happen throughout the hallways in the train. I thought that was kind of cool. It was almost like we're peeping in on, these people, like, what's going on over here? Like, I found that to be effective. And also, he uses a lot of one-take shots and a lot of dolly shots following actors, and they deliver these heavy amounts of dialogue. It almost reminded me of like a 1950s film. We'll have two characters in a scene, and they're just going back and forth with the dialogue as fast as they can, and around you like, hey, what are you doing over there? Hey, blah, 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 blah. And, not like that, obviously. I am definitely no actor. But I found that to be kind of the only vision that Kenneth Branagh really brought to the movie, if that makes any sense, was the kind of old-timey cinematography and kind of unique cinematography stylings to really kind of highlight the movie and really kind of sink us into the setting and this environment of the train. Negatives. I will start with the obvious one first, and then I'll get into more of the kind of advanced one, is the CGI. I thought the train and the mountains, the tracks, every time they did an outside shot, it looked awful. It looked like a cutscene of a video game, and especially when you're mixing that with an Agatha Christie novel, it just doesn't work, because Agatha Christie always seemed to me like, a very elegant writer, like, old school, like, classic type of author. And then when you mix in like this modern CGI, it just kind of throws off the whole material, and it just, no, it just took me out of it. I was like, no, thank you. Especially at the very beginning when they CGI'd the cities. Oh, it was bad. Like, these people were sitting in front of green screens, and like they looked real, and the clothes looked real, obviously. But then like you look off into the background, and it looks so polished and so neat and artificial, and you're like, no, that's not how the city looks. And if it does, That's some weird lighting on that, from the sun. So, if it is, good job. But it looks fake. The biggest issue with the film, I'd say it's pretty flat. And it's kind of boring. The thing with Kenneth Branagh as a director is that he's really good with working with actors and working well with dialogue. He's always been, to me, a very good play director. He's really good at making a film feel like this long-winded play of these characters and dialogue, and he's really good at that. And it actually fits this material. But clocking in at 2 hours almost, it gets really slow and very tedious in the middle. Because all we have is Kenneth Branagh as the detective. Now, his arc, that's not the problem. His arc in the film is actually spectacular. But him going to people asking, what's your involvement with the murder, but yeah, blah, 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 and then moving on to the next scene over and over and over and over again, you could feel literally the film come to a halt. Pun intended. And so I feel like that's where the movie kind of suffers a bit, because then it just kind of overall feels like an okay movie, and Kenneth Branagh is not really bringing any visual style to the movie to make it pop and make it, sting as you're watching it. Like, I want to be fully invested into this film, but I couldn't. I'll put it to you this way. I was interested in what I was seeing, but I was never riveted or invested in it. Ever. I was interested to see these performances, costumes, and what kind of shot would this be, and how do you like this? But I was never really fully into the story. Now, I will say that the end scene was really well done. It was a great climax. But on the same token, these characters, we don't really know much about them. It's just kind of like they're pawns to be there for us to decide who done it. I mean, that doesn't really make for a riveting movie when you only really feel like like a few characters. Like, I knew Josh Gad's character pretty well. Maybe Daisy Ridley. I forgot most of their characters and like what they did. But I don't know. The movie just seemed kind of flat to me. There's really nothing more I could say about that. I really didn't find it investable at all in the middle part, and then when you're kind of hooked in the beginning and it loses you in the second act, and then in the third act it kind of picks up and you're like, okay, that was a neat little climax, and then the movie just ends, and I don't know. It's one of those movies where like it's fine if you want to go see it, but I would actually suggest it as a strong rental. And it is also one of those movies where you see it and you might just forget it when you walk out. So, with great performances, costume design, production design, and an otherwise kind of okay, sometimes boring and flat story with no real visual pop, I'm going to give Murder on the Orient Express a C+. So, what did you guys think about this movie? What did you guys think about the original? Have you read the book? Please tell me I'm wrong. I've had a lot of people do that to me this week, so keep it going. But please let me know what you thought about this movie down below. And I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMovieScreenings.com. And tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.